Today, we are talking about something amazing. So excited. We're talking about public speaking. Let me bring on my special guest. And try to get there we go. And let me bring on our special guest. Look who we have here today. This is Janice. Janice is a public speaker extraordinaire, but I am actually going to let her introduce herself. So, Janice, you are on screen without me there. I know you can't see you, but
I
chime
can
in and say
now.
hi.
I can now.
Perfect.
Oh, technology, APEP. Isn't it so much fun? So you want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Yes. So communication specialist, expert, perhaps. Yep, that's my field.
Experts. So we're going to get into it. Janice has something amazing she's doing in the next little while, which we'll talk about at the end. But if you're joining me and you are like me, where you have a bit of fear around public speaking and you get nervous and like the back of your knees shake, well, if you're like this at all, this one's for you. Janice is going to help us learn some amazing things. So we're going to talk about why and how public speaking can change the face of your business, some do's and don'ts, and some tricks, tips, and insider tricks, my friends. Insider tricks. So if you're joining me and you feel the way I've felt, chime in, let us know. The comments should be coming to my page, just so you know, because that's what happens when we share between pages. Now, Janice,
Yes, Pip.
my friend. Okay, I don't know if you saw in the comments in the group when we mentioned that you were coming on, but you got a, "I love Janice," and I was like, "Yeah, you do, because I do too." So you got to go check that out. By the way,
I saw that. It was lovely. Really lovely.
well, I mean that speaks volumes about you, my friend. Now, you tell us a bit about your background because you're a communications specialist.
I am. I came by it in a very nonlinear way. So my first career was in dentistry. You know this. You and I have talked about this. And I became allergic to the product that I was using in the lab. So I had to plan B, find another career. And off I did. Off to university, received a communication degree and a marketing degree.
Mm.
And opened up my own shingle when I graduated in 2009 and opened up my communications agency. The major focus when I first started was strictly around the public speaking piece, so getting clients ready for presentations. Now, over the past few years, it's evolved to working with clients around executive communication skills. That's fun.
Yeah, and so you're based in Vancouver,
I am.
but you help people all over the world, and you've helped people with TED Talks.
I've helped people with TED Talks. I've helped people speak at the United Nations. I just finished working with a rabbi who delivered this wonderful long sermon in the synagogue a few days ago. Done some really cool, interesting, fabulous things.
Yeah, now, okay. So Mona's here and a couple other people. If you are joining us, I can't see your beautiful face. Hi, Karen. Chime in, ask a question. You guys, we are so fortunate to have Janice here, and we're gonna get right into it. Okay, so tell me now. I do a lot of lives. Lives are becoming a bigger thing, and something I'm realizing more and more is doing lives are a lot like public speaking or community,
Absolutely.
and people are staring into a green dot or they're getting in front of a crowd, and there's so many things that we can do and that can go wrong. And so we're going to get into all that stuff, but like, how can it change your business? Tell me.
Lots of ways. And first of all, the core of your business, you, right? When you can get confident being up on a stage or behind a Facebook Live or being interviewed on a podcast, makes all the difference to evolution of you, evolution of your business, right? I watch a lot of my clients that, when they start, when they initiate, away they go and, find themselves on speaking stages. Um, uh, the reach, then that you have, right? Because you're under the spotlight and seen as, very credible as an authority, around what if you speak. Um, And so to go back a little bit, so from my field in communications and marketing, especially the communications piece, what we are always wringing our hands about is this, we get this onslaught of, information, all of us every day. And so how do you differentiate yourself?
Right?
Being on a public speaking stage, being on a Facebook Live, that's how you can do it. And yeah, so the reach is, you're there, you're seen, and the reach is exponential. However you want to grow it.
Isn't that interesting? Because we know as marketers that know, like, and trust factor is huge.
Yeah.
Let me just chime out. We have Lucinda here. Lucinda has been practicing for her own TED Talk, so she thinks she has to listen to this one. And yes, you do. And Karen's joining us. Yay, guys! This is such a good talk. Right? Of course, we have a good amount of people. Janice is here. Um, I know. I love you, buddy. I do.
I love you.
Right? Okay, so you've seen, like, okay, you helped this rabbi, and so he's coming to you to do better, to be more engaging. Like,
Mhm.
when we see the difference between a good speaker and a great speaker,
Yep,
it can change your business, because of that
completely.
trust. So you've
Yeah,
seen this happen.
absolutely. And it's nuances, right? And, I think often as individuals, as you said, we'll see somebody who's an okay speaker and we'll see someone who's an excellent speaker. And what is it? Like, what is it that they are doing? And I'll tell you one of the secrets.
Okay.
Yes. It's, and as a marketer, Pep, audience centric, right? It's always about the audience. Of course, we have this experience, we have this body of work, but we have to deliver it in a way that our audience wants to hear it, that our audience needs to hear it. And many new presenters don't understand the concept and aren't directing, their content in that way, and that's where they run into trouble.
Well, it's very hard to be outside of yourself. So it's
Mhm.
hard to know what your audience wants. So, one of the things I think I've learned most recently is that, you know, things like being a speaker is actually about practice and honing a skill, and people can learn it. And
Absolutely.
and this is shocking, right?
No, it's not shocking at all. We get consumed in this fear of public speaking. But look at when you started Facebook Lives, right?
Mm.
Not the easiest, lots of technology to figure out, but also, what is it that the audience wants to hear, right? So you're always, working your way through that, and how to deliver, right? So so that you're just yourself, right?
I no,
Yeah.
I guys, I Janice and I met before this, of course, and I did tell her. So somebody put my voice and Greg's voice side by side on fast, and they could understand Greg perfectly, and I sounded like a chipmunk. So a lesson I learned was about breathing, and I think this is a big deal in public speaking. Okay, but we're gonna get there. So public speaking can really change your business. We've established that.
Mhm.
But tell me some of the do's and don'ts. Like, what should I be doing to get better at being a public speaker? Ooh,
Yeah. Well, there's lots of things. There's a number.
besides hiring you.
Yeah, besides hiring me. Uh, first of all, the content piece, the development around content. It's
Help people with that, right?
absolutely, that's a big piece of what I do. Is my background is in communications. Um, it's like writing about a blog article. It's like writing a book, right? It's the first iteration is not the one that's the ugly draft, right? It's an evolution. You keep going along until you've absolutely nailed the content from a delivery.
Like, how do
Pardon me.
you know which piece is great, which you should get rid of, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So those. Well,
Now, is it about having somebody there to help you reflect? Like,
yeah. And I'm not self-serving. Not only not focused at me, but work with colleagues, work with family. Have them listen and provide feedback for you. What's landing, what's not landing. Yeah.
okay, so starting with a joke.
Sure you can if, and I only recommend that if you're the type of person who can tell a joke,
Okay.
right? Many are not, and it's not a wise way to start.
No, okay. Oh, that's interesting, right? Because you feel you want to get people comfortable, but
For, for
okay.
sure. And that's one way to start, right? And absolutely, it's really important from the beginning, from the get go, you want to hook people in. Yeah.
Now,
So, yeah.
here's a marketing thing that's interesting. In marketing now, we're told, tell a story. It's all about the story, to the point where there's stories on Facebook. Now, how does that, so could you start telling a story? Is that a good way?
For sure. You absolutely could. And then it could be threaded, throughout the presentation, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's your through line, you keep touching on it and then perhaps finish up with the conclusion of your story at the end. That's one way, that you could work the content of your presentation.
Karen's saying, yeah, it can fall flat. She's talking about the joke. So I'm that's a good lesson for everybody out there. If you're not a natural joker, you know. Um,
Don't do it.
okay, so tell me a couple don'ts.
Couple of don'ts. Hmm. Um, don't fall into the trap of thinking that you don't need to practice. Or here's another. I'll have clients come to me, and we'll be working. We're near the end of their presentation, and they're coming and practicing. And I'll say to them, "Have you practiced?" "Oh yeah, I sat at my desk and I ran through it in my head."
Oh,
Absolutely not. It's not the same thing. You need to stand up somewhere, wherever it is, and practice it live, right? So you're hearing, what's working and what's not working.
okay. So
Um,
on the couch.
yeah, just laying on the couch thinking about it. That's not practice. And I can't drive home enough how important it is to practice. Copious amounts of practice. I've never had anybody come back to me and say, I practice too much. Like I just never hear it, right? Like you just want to have it absolutely, fine tuned and nailed before, you put yourself out there on a stage.
Isn't that interesting? Karen's actually saying that research your audience, which is what you said. It's all about your audience, which is key. Now, as you said, okay, practiced. I knew somebody that was doing a TED talk. And so, because I'm interested, not that I want to be a public speaker, but that it interests me that so many people do. Because they're courageous. I'm a chicken. I'm a chicken, right?
Oh, come on, look at you. You're on Facebook Live. You're not a
I
chicken.
know, but it's like behind a camera. It's funny. But the thing is, I saw the schedule. And the schedule for learning to do a TED Talk was insane.
It's onerous. Yeah,
It was
it's a big job. It's a project.
well, yeah, because they have supporting slides, maybe, but they're like, and it's in front of lots of people, which can make you nervous. I remember being 4 or 5 and doing a turkey thing with a costume, and I froze. I think that's where my deep fear goes. But that being said, when I saw how much practice these guys have to do for TED Talk, and guys, Janice trains people for TED Talks. I'm just saying, um, I was shocked, and the reason is that they find where it flows. So
Hmm.
by the time they're doing this presentation, it's like a well rehearsed play.
Absolutely, months and months and months worth, right? And so TEDx the same, quite stretched out, over a timeline. TED itself, a good 6 months worth.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, that you're
okay.
back and forth iterations of your content, and then practicing, begin practicing with them.
And do you practice in different areas? Like, would you say go practice outside or in front of a mirror or all those things?
Absolutely, that's what Joe was just. I'm laughing because the last client that I had, that's what I was suggesting to him. So here down in Vancouver, go down to the beach, walk on the beach, and practice.
Out
Um, yeah, out loud. Who
loud.
cares?
You
Who
look like
cares?
a crazy person. It's fine.
Who cares? You'll never see those people again. Doesn't matter,
The other
right?
thing that's crazy has changed because now everybody talks out loud and it's
Yeah, on their phone kind of thing. But one of the reasons that I had him do that was so walking in the sand, right? And it's physical exertion. So part of the method to my madness was around him getting a good handle about being able to control his breath and around projection. Yep.
interesting. That being said, I will tell you, as you guys know, I do Facebook Lives all the time, but one of the hardest things to do is go into another group and do a live. And even when you're comfortable in one setting, you're not in another. Like it's weird. Your body gets all like, eh. Okay, now forget.
However, yeah, so, the big, elephant in the room about the fear of public speaking,
Yes.
you can never completely get rid of it. I don't believe that anybody can. The only people who I see on stages who, they say that they have no fear of public speaking and, it looks like they don't, they're narcissists. They have huge egos, like point blank. Anybody else, the rest of us, we do. Like we get nervous, right? And, there's some anxiety around it. However, it can be managed, right?
Interesting. Well, like anything, right? Stressful situations like taking tests, public speaking, all these things. And there's things you can do to
Absolutely.
help. But they also say that, you know what, a little bit, for instance, when you're in university, a little bit of stress can actually make you do
Yeah,
better, right? So,
absolutely.
like,
Pushes you forward, right? Yeah.
I know this one thing about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So
Hmm.
if you eat half an hour before, all your blood is rushing to your internal organs versus your external.
Oh,
And so you
didn't know.
you become calmer because they can't work together. That's why the reason I know this is because if an animal's stressed out and you try to feed them, if they don't eat, they'll stay in that stress. If they do, the
Oh,
cool,
I
eh?
didn't know that. I didn't know that. One thing I'll tell you. So, one of the biggest tools around anxiety managing the anxiety piece is breathing, right? Um, and so, what I've come to know is that. So I've got a number of different breathing exercises that I use with my clients. But one thing I learned a few years ago, which I didn't realize, like I knew that the breathing exercises worked, mechanics of it. I was a little slim on, but found a couple of years ago that when you take a breath in, it accelerates your heart rate. When you when you exhale, it lowers your heart rate. Yeah. So yeah. So that's why, you want to take a deep breath in, but on the exhalation, you want that to be longer.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I don't know about you. I have this thing and I'm working through it because I abhor silence a little bit. So I'll be the rambler in the room that I'll keep shooting questions at you, right? And I'm learning that silence is your friend.
Hmm.
And with
Yeah.
public speaking, so if we just were quiet,
Yeah. Pauses are your friend.
right, people would listen in. Furthermore,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
so many ways to improve and get better and hone these skills. I'm really actually surprised that I mean I know you work mostly with executives um,
Mhm.
in training,
A lot of entrepreneurs too.
right?
My practice is mixed.
Well, nowadays, I mean, with what's going on social media, your job is more important than ever, and having those communication skills with you, it's kind of a perfect fit. Like it's pretty impressive. But
Thank you.
now I'm gonna get to some insider tricks because I know you know some insider things. Now, at the end of a presentation, say you've been hired. Oh my God, you've been hired, and you're gonna do a talk, and you've been practicing, and you're doing all these things. But it seems like at the end of a presentation, they kind of it's like whatever when you're at a conference, right? Now,
Mhm.
how can I, as a presenter, make people walk away feeling elated and excited about the fact that they heard me speak?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, within a presentation, can be a call to action that's kind of seeded throughout. Um, at the end, you definitely need to have that call to action. You and I have spoken about this before, and I know I was really surprised to see how surprised you were. Is never end with a Q&A, right?
That's so interesting. Now, why is that?
Because then you've given the power away to the audience, and you've given the power away to that last person who has asked the question. So they've driven the conversation, they've driven the content, right? So you have not, in your own power as a speaker, finished up, in those last couple of minutes,
So that
right?
it's really interesting. So now, okay, at a speaking event, usually it ends somewhat
Yep.
with Q&A. So how do you mitigate that? How do you turn it around in your favor?
Right. So, well, and this is being an organized and well-educated speaker by speaking to who's ever, MC of the event or who's in charge of the event and saying, this is how it's going to finish, right? You need to take the bull by the horns because, it's you. It's you that's up there. It's your reputation that's on the line. Yeah. And you need to say, okay, I don't finish on a Q&A. I will have the Q&A and it will last this long, whatever's been determined. However, then I will be speaking for a couple of more minutes to, finish up the presentation.
Oh, that's so smart. Huh. We have a lot of people here, I will say. We have about 9 people. We have Danika's joined us. Joe just joined us. Hi, guys. Chime in if you have any opinions on public speaking. So I'm going to grill you here, my friend. I am going to grill you.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? You're offering something really cool. Now, this is just, I think, for Vancouver or people traveling to Vancouver, but I think it's a really cool idea. And I know you're offering 2 things, and I don't usually do this, um, but they're so cool. And if I was in Vancouver, I definitely been going. Can you tell me a little bit about this breakfast club thing?
For sure. Yep. So we will be starting in January and meeting at my house, limited to 6 people only. And so the people in the group will be newish speakers, can be some people perhaps with experience. I'm looking for a varied group. We'll be meeting for a year, once a month. So breakfast at my house,
Ooh.
early morning meetings. And so, what mastermind group of sorts, and what I will be doing each month is taking them through a component, a concept of public speaking. So, with the intention of hopefully within halfway, but absolutely definitely by the end of it, that those in the room will have secured speaking gigs,
Ooh.
or if they're more seasoned speakers, bigger speaking gigs than they've spoken at before. So it'll be soup to nuts of what it takes to be a public speaker and how to get the gigs.
Ooh, okay, okay. So this is what I didn't know. Um, I didn't know. I did not know that you. How do you get speaking gigs? Ooh, that's such a good question. Oh my God. Tell me, what do you know?
What do I know? I know lots. Um, it's as you do, it's like cold calling, right? You've got to, it's outreach, and you're looking for places where it's a good fit for you to be speaking, and reaching out, to associations. If you're just starting out, oftentimes what I suggest to my clients is look for academic institutions. So even if you're really low barrier to entry, it could be at a high school, right? And start off that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So as your first start, and reach out to associations. They're always looking for speakers, right? They're looking for experts in industries, and it's usually pretty easy. And then what starts happening, and I watch with my clients, that once they've spoken in a couple of different venues, then people start asking them and reaching out to them. You don't have to have so much outreach yourself. Yeah,
Interesting.
and it starts to roll.
And you see, it's always the case where if you start doing speaking engagements, it will grow your business.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
With every client of mine, that's what I've watched. Right? It's the perfect avenue to grow your business.
Now,
But
why would somebody hire a communication specialist? Now, I know you get lots of gigs, like that's for sure. Now, but like as a business owners hire you to come in and talk to their staff,
mhm,
um, and other people hire you to teach them how to do presentations. Why is it important to, there's coaches everywhere, right?
mhm.
But why, if this is something you want to do, why would it be a good idea to hire an expert? Good question, right?
Yep. Because look at Pep, how many events do you go to? How many public speaking events do you go to where the speaker is just okay, or sometimes not even great? How many speakers do you have the opportunity to watch who are excellent? They're few and far between, right?
Yeah.
And so that difference of being excellent, um, it's just it just makes such a difference to being others seeing you, being asked at other events, being confident in the content that you're delivering, being confident in the way that you're delivering it. Yeah.
See, I think that's interesting. I think to become exceptional at any job we have, hiring actually help is a very smart decision, which is really interesting. Karen's saying, wow, she likes the outreach ideas. I really liked your idea of reaching out to schools.
Yeah, low investment in the beginning, right?
Right?
Yeah.
It's to get, well, you need some practice. You can't be exceptional right away, right?
No, no.
So now, for the final round, my friend, the final round. Okay, what is one insider tip besides knowing your audience that you feel that when you meet a lot of the people you help, they're lacking this? I know, so hard, right? They're, yeah, yeah. I know you know the answer right away.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm thinking the same answer as you,
I'm not
but
thinking anything, so
yeah,
good.
good. Just being yourself. And that's the hardest piece, right? We think as public speakers that we have to behave a certain way or emulate another public speaker. We want to be like them. It just doesn't work, right? We do not resonate. We do not connect with our audience unless we can sit back and just, in the seat of ourselves and be confident and deliver that way. I know those are easy words to say, right?
So easy to say.
Yeah, not quite so easy to deliver.
Right.
Takes
Well, it
practice.
takes time and practice, and it's public speaking and communications are hard and scary. And guys, when I spoke to Janice the other day, there's one technique she uses, and her clients actually talk to her about, which is your delivery of constructive criticism, something we're not all good at taking. Janet uses what she calls a velvet hammer, people, a velvet hammer, right? So I thought that was really good because people, I know people don't offer constructive criticism even when you ask for it, which is really a challenge to improving, right? I like constructive criticism because it helps me grow. It is hard to take sometimes, for
And be
sure,
uncomfortable.
but
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's relationships. When you work a coach as a consultant, right? It's these very trusted, respected relationships. They have to be like that in order to work, in order to click, right?
these people become, it's really weird, we have all these coaches out there. One thing I technically kind of struggle with is the people I work with become really good friends of mine. Like it's not even a question, and to the point where, I mean, lifelong friends. And I wonder, do people keep that separate? I mean, you're off watching your speakers sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I can, if they're in Vancouver or if I'm in another city and they're delivering there, yeah, absolutely. A really big, important piece, right? To see, all of the work that we've done, has it ended, in a way that, as a final presentation, has it met the bar, of where we wanted to go. Yeah. And then the next piece to that I do with all of my clients will watch, a recorded version of it and debrief to see, what worked, what didn't work. No presentation is ever perfect at the end, right? So
Right
that debrief piece to learn even more is very important.
now, we're out of time, but because it goes so
I
fast.
can't believe it's already half an hour.
I
Yeah.
know, I know, and you know what? It is shocking because it's so much fun. So, if you're gonna leave anybody with one tip, because I'm not letting you go without a tip for people. So, if I want to become a better public speaker, what is one thing I can do to slowly improve besides reaching out to you?
Mm.
Ah,
Say yes, just do it. Right. And that's what, I have a lot of clients come to me that they'll say, like, for years, I just didn't do it. I got someone else to do it. I sidestepped, right? Because I had too much anxiety and fear over it. And what they'll say is that, they look back and it slowed down their careers, like it slowed down the growth of their business, right? Just say yes to every opportunity.
right.
And you know what? You're not going to be 100% excellent, those first times, but it's learning. It's a learning process.
Right. Now, if people want to find you, okay, definitely, guys, go over like her page. We're going to link it in the comments. But if people want to learn more about the Breakfast Club or your other mastermind that we did not talk about, guys are going to have to check it out on our website. Where can people find you? Best way
Yep.
to connect.
Yeah. So my website, so my name, so JaniceTomich.com. So it's a T-O, not a T-H. It's a Tomich.
Tomich.
You'll find me there. Yeah.
Okay. And the name of your business?
It's calculated presentations.
So if you guys are looking to improve, get better, excel, grow your career, this is the woman for you. She is one of the geeks, let me tell you, and she is in the group. If you ever have any questions about public speaking, this is the woman.
Yeah,
And
shoot them my way. Mm-hmm.
right, I thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Pleasure. We'll
So
have you
much
on
fun.
next year because
Yeah,
people seem to like this topic, my friend.
well, it's a big topic.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
guys, we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Pip. Bye.
Bye.